we go. Okay, so let's start seated. Oop, hang on, I need to adjust. Sorry. I get busy talking. My bad. Alrighty, here we go. So, take a moment to make sure that hips are higher than knees. Make sure that you're comfortable. Take a moment to play with the feeling of your spine. And does it feel comfortable as you sit? Can you find a comfortable stack? And as you find a comfortable stack, feel the shoulders relax and let the hands come to rest on top of the thighs, palms facing up. Good. When you're ready and you feel like you have a space of comfort, and please feel free to fidget as much as you need to. Let your eyes gently close. And before you change your breath, simply take a moment to scan and notice any areas of your body that might be holding any extra stress, any extra tension, any extra discomfort. Feel your body relax. Once you find that place of comfort, relaxation, I want you to begin to shift your breath into full diaphragmatic breath, where as you inhale, you begin the inhale at the low belly and feel that low belly expand out. Then let the breath move up to the solar plexus and then finish filling the breath below the collarbone about the heart. Then as you exhale, allow the breath to release from behind the heart to the solar plexus, all the way down into that low belly. And just feel it move in that direction so that with each inhale, you start low, filling the low belly. Feel the breath move to behind the solar plexus and then up to behind the heart. And then as you exhale, release it from the heart to the solar plexus, all the way down to the low belly. And as you find your rhythm with this breath, you can just simply imagine that you are gently filling a glass with water. And notice that as you pour the water into the glass, it fills from the bottom, goes to the middle, and ends at the top. And then when it comes time to pour the water, it leaves from the top, through the middle, and then finally at the bottom. And as you're here and you're finding that full, deep, diaphragmatic breath, if it is in your practice, pause at the top of the inhale for 1 to 2 counts. Where there is no inhale and there is no exhale, there is only the space between. And experience the space between. And then gently come back to the exhale, where you release from the top and go to the middle, and then finally to the bottom. Filling the breath with deep inhale, coming from the bottom, going to the top. Taking a moment, if it's in your practice, to pause And feel the space between the inhale, between the exhale, and then taking yourself through your exhale, where you're releasing your breath from the top to the middle to the bottom. Enjoy the breath. Enjoy this rhythm. And take a moment again as you're focusing on your inhale, your pause, and your exhale to again scan the body, observe what you have, where your body is. And also take a moment to notice that the mind is also beginning to quiet. From here, still using your breath, allow your arms to come down by your sides. And again, as you take that full inhale, coming from the bottom, going to the middle and the top, bring your arms up with your breath. Allowing at the very top of the inhale, where you may be pausing, to let the palms touch together and stay there as you pause. And then as you exhale, to bring them down to the heart. When you get them to the heart, shift to the palms and lay one palm and then the other over your heart center. From here, still using our breath, we're going to move into sound and tone. We'll sing 3 sounds. We'll start with the sound of ah, then we'll move to the sound of oh, and then the sound of On your 4th breath, please set your intent for your practice today, making this an I am statement, something that you most need and something that you most desire. So here we go, taking a full, deep, low belly inhale. And then when you're ready, release your hands. Allow them again to come down by the sides. And again, still following that deep, full diaphragmatic breath. Inhale, coming from the bottom, raising and lengthening through the fingertips and the arms, bringing them up over the head. Again, if you choose to pause, pause here with the palms touch, and then exhale. Gently draw them down. This time, allow the thumbs to press at the heart point on your sternum. Take another full cycle of breath right here. Deep inhale, deep exhale. And then at the end of this exhale, release the hands down, and one more time, lengthen and raise all the way up. Big breath of joy. Let the palms touch at the top. And then exhale. Gently bring them down. Once again, thumbs at the heart space on this journey. When you're ready, gently release your hands. Take a moment, letting the palms face down. Gently lift the corners of the mouth, softly open the eyes. Thank you all very, very much. Welcome, Bonnie. Okay, you guys. So, first thing I want us to do is play with this idea that the thoracic spine is meant to bend, okay? So this is going to be a little bit of upper body movement. So you're going to take your hands, place them on top of the thighs. And what I want you to do is, coming from the hips, gently bring yourself forward a little bit, and then just dip that right shoulder. So what I want you to do is, I want you to feel the movement of the twist through the upper body, and then I want you to feel the muscles through the lower back, okay? And if you need to keep your other hand on that low back so that you can actually feel how this works, do it. I want this to be something that really connects into your body sense, your kinesthetic sense. And just notice that the spine through the lumbar really does stay fairly solid, and that the twist is really actually happening in between the shoulder blades. And then gently release that, come up, and now we're going to change sides. And again, if this right hand now needs to go to the back so that you can feel that, do that. Take a deep inhale, and then I want you to dip that left arm forward. Feel how the vertebrae actually move in between the shoulders. The lower lumbar spine actually stays fairly connected, and the rotation that you feel through the lumbar spine is actually coming from muscle. And then gently release. One more time. Again, coming back to the right hand, right shoulder, left hand is on the low back. If you choose, exhale, gently feel that twist. And then gently release that. Change sides, moving now to the left, allowing that left shoulder to dip. And then gently release. From here, let's do a little bit of flexion. So we're coming from the hips. Now, this is where I want you to come. So this is one thing where it's like, when we talk about in yoga, coming from the hips to find that extension through the low back, this is what we mean. So let the hands come to fingertips directly up. I'm going to back myself up even a little bit more so that you can see my fingertips. So my fingertips are just like little spider fingers, okay? So what happens is, and this is all going to be dependent about how your body feels in this movement. If the hips are tight, you may feel a lot of restriction. You may not be able to move much. If your low back and your glutes are tight, again, you may be limited as to how much that you can come forward. So feel the shoulders relax. So we're not trying to round through the shoulders. Now we're moving into the lower back. So we're flexing. We're coming towards our thighs. Okay? So just gently, slowly, only taking as much as it feels comfortable, walk those fingertips forward. So now my fingertips are outside of the camera. Feel the shoulders relax. There you go, good. And you just find the space where this feels good. So again, we're looking for the place in your body that feels pleasurable. And there's a lot of conversation about how to explain that point, okay? So for some of you, you may not really feel anything here in the low back, but you might be feeling quite a bit coming from your hips You might feel some opening in through the glutes. And again, we're just allowing that flexion coming from the low back. And we're moving this very, 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 very slowly so that everything has time to catch up. And then gently, slowly begin to walk those fingers back. Coming back upright, okay? I'm gonna turn myself now to the side so that it's a little bit easier for you to see. Again, please make sure that you're being careful with your body. Okay, so we're still seated on our little cushion. I want you to bring the hands behind. And if that's too much, please use your blocks, okay? So that way, your arms don't have to reach back quite as much. Okay, you can place your hands on your blocks. This is gonna make it a little bit easier. So do what feels best for you. So the first thing I want you to do is allow the fingers, if you're on the blocks, to drape off to the sides. And just take a moment, and I want you to begin to activate the shoulder muscles. So these would be the rhomboids and some of the trapezius muscles. You're going to take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, I just want you to find those inner edges of the shoulder blades and just squeeze them together. And then let it relax. And if you want to bend into the elbows, that's fine. And then again, one more time. Just squeeze those inner edges of the shoulder blade. And then from here, if it feels comfortable, point your fingers towards your glutes. And now what we're going to do is we're going to find just a little bit of extension through the low back. So please, please, please make sure that what you're doing is coming from the low back, that it feels good, and that you're leading through the belly. So as you inhale, I want you to take a deep inhale, come from that low belly. And let the extension come from the belly, pulling you forward. So this is not a big movement. And then as you exhale, allow the curve to relax. And again, inhale, come from the belly, and allow the belly to draw the curve into the lumbar spine. And then as you exhale, feel it relax. So all we're doing is just playing with cat and cow from a different plane of gravity. And then one more time, deep inhale. Or actually the cow portion of cat and cow. And then let it relax. And then gently come up. Now, I want you to feel that curve. So what we're going to do next is we're going to do a gentle rotation. And I want you, if you need to, place your hands on the low back so that you can feel what your low back does as you make this movement. So feel, if what you can do is you can actually take your fingertips into the groove that's in your back so that you can actually feel the column, the posterior end of the column, okay? So again, this is not a big movement. This is so that you can connect and feel. So gently come forward from the hips. So we're moving into a gentle flexion. Take a deep inhale. And then as you exhale, gently ease yourself over towards the left. Notice, and with your hands, that all of a sudden you activate through that right lateral side of your body. Gently come back. Notice how as you come back, you activate through the front of your body. And then as you inhale, bring yourself over towards the right. Notice how everything activates muscle-wise through that left side of your body. And then you come back forward. So again, let's do this again. if you choose and you want to feel a little bit more in terms of the connection between the back and the back side of the pelvis, point your fingers down so that not only are you feeling fingers in the groove, but you've also got a couple of fingers on the back side of the pelvis. So again, deep inhale. And then exhale, gently rotate over towards the left. And just notice how all of these different muscles of the trunk go to support that low back. And then let's reverse. And again, you're just using your breath as you are gently bringing yourself through your rotation, okay? And then come back to center, all right? So is everybody getting a sense that it's like, yes, the lumbar spine really, it's like there's a lot of stability there, and what we're doing is we need to be very mindful about making sure that we're activating the muscle to add to the stability. Does that make sense? You can do the same thing with your neck. The neck is actually built to do flexion, so gently press the head down. And you can feel the posterior side of the vertebrae gently come back up against the skin. And then gently take your fingers into, you have a little groove that's right below the head. This is called the nuchal groove. So gently place your fingers there and allow extension. So allow the vertebrae and the head and gaze to come up. Come back to center. You've got lateral flexion, so allow that left ear to roll towards that left shoulder. And then bring your head up, and then right ear to the right shoulder. Bring your head up, and then gentle rotation. So the neck is really built, and go both directions for all of this rotation. It's really cool. And then gently come back to center. And there's actually a little bone in your second vertebrae, your axis, that comes up, it sticks upright, okay? And this is called the dens, and it actually goes all the way up into the atlas, C1, and acts as the pivot point for you to rotate your skull. It's the coolest thing. It's like we have a pivot in our body. Too cool for school. Okay, here we go. All right, now that we've done all that, let's make some bigger movements, you guys. So connecting still with the back. Now we're gonna move into a bigger twist. So we started here, right, so that we could get the idea of twisting through the lumbar thoracic, or excuse me, through the thoracic vertebrae. Now we're gonna do a bigger twist, but I want us to do a little bit of an experiment. The first time, what I want you to do is allow the hips to stay centered, okay? And we're gonna just move coming from the upper vertebrae, okay? So we're just gonna do the twist coming from the thoracic vertebrae. Now, please be mindful. What I want you to do is I want you to take, so we're gonna twist to the left first. What I want you to do is take this left thumb and I want you to find your 12th rib, okay? And it's the one that, it's the shortest one. And then follow it back and I want you to put your thumb at that point. Okay, there we go. All right, you're gonna take a deep inhale, lengthen through that right arm. And as you exhale, keeping your pelvis facing the front, you're gonna gently twist above where your thumb is and then gently lengthen that right arm down. Make sure that this is comfortable. If that's too much for anyone, I want you to back out. So I want you to take 3 cycles of breath. And if possible, I want you to hold for 1 to 2 counts at the top. If that's too much for your breath, just focus on diaphragmatic breathing. When you get done with your 3 cycles of breath, gently unwind and bring yourself back to center. Beautiful, you guys. Good. Okay. Now I want you to notice how that felt in your body. Okay. We're going to do the same thing, this time with your right thumb. So take a moment and find that 12th vertebra or that 12th rib. Place the thumb approximately where that vertebrae is. Take a deep inhale with that left arm. And exhale, and I want you to twist, coming from the upper. Exhale, allow that left arm to come down, either on top of the thigh or to the outer edge. And again, 3 cycles of breath. Please pause if it feels comfortable at the top. At the end of the 3rd breath, gently unwind. Beautiful, you guys. Okay, and just notice how that feels in your body, how it feels through the rib cage, how it feels through the low back, how it feels through the neck. Now we're going to go ahead, and I'd like you to go ahead and extend your legs. So we're going to do that same twist, but we're going to allow the hips to shift. If it's difficult for you to do on your cushion or on your blankets, you can go ahead and come down onto the ground. So again, we're going to begin by twisting over to the left, which means that what I want you to do is allow this left hip to gently move itself back so that now our hips are at an angle, and instead of facing straight ahead at 12 o'clock, they're about 2 o'clock, okay? So does everybody feel that? So this left hip is receding back. Again, take a deep inhale. And then as you exhale, this time allow this to come deeper so that feel the rotation through the pelvis. Then feel that move up through the spine. And again, allow this right arm to come either on top of the thigh or to the outside. The left hand, which I'm waving at you, is going to come behind and act as a stabilizer. And again, 3 cycles of breath. Pausing at the top if that's what feels best for you. When you get done, gently unwind. There we go, good. Bring the hips so that they are once again square and back to the middle. And then I want you just to notice how this feels through your body, okay? Did you notice a difference between when we were twisting just with the upper body versus when we were engaging more of the spinal column? So now we're going to go over to the right. So what I want you to do is, before we begin, allow that right hip to recede back. Allow that left hip to come forward a little bit. And again, this time lengthen in through that left arm. And exhale, wrapping around the pelvis. Gently bring that left hand either to the top of the thigh or the outside. Right hand, which I'm waving at you, is going to come behind and just act as support. And again, 3 cycles of breath. And then gently, slowly, allow it to release when you're done, and gently bring the hips back to square. Okay? And just take a moment and notice how the spine feels. Okay? So you guys, as we do this, there's no right and no wrong. I want you to experience all of this so that you can figure out, where does your body feel good? What way does it like to move? Okay? So now we're going to take this and we're going to bring it into cat and cow. All right? So what I want us to focus on is what's the strength? So the strength of the thoracic spine, right, is not so much in flexion or extension as it is the lumbar spine. So what I want you to do, because lumbars can sometimes be a little cranky, especially first thing in the morning, I want you to focus on the front. So, and then allow the thoracic spine to do as best as it can. Okay, we usually have about, I think, 5 to 10% flexion extension through the thoracic spine. So take a deep inhale, and I want you to feel the inhale, pull the belly down towards the floor. So inhale. So again, you're allowing the breath to create the curve for the lumbar spine. And then as you exhale and you push that back in, feel the rotation, or excuse me, feel the flexion come down here. And then as you press gently into the palm, so you're pressing down, move into the cervical spine and draw the chin up and into the chest. So what we're doing is we're doing complete flexion of the spine. Everybody is helping and moving as best they can. And then again, take a deep inhale. Moving into, there we go. Creating that big curve. Allow this to move all the way up into the neck. Leading from the front. So I want you to really feel the opening into the abdominal wall. And then exhale again. So dropping down. So moving into concave. And then using your breath very gently, very slowly, inhaling, moving into a convex curve. And allowing your spine each part to do the best that it can. And then one more time. Move slowly, feel. One more cycle. You're using your breath as you bring things into the front, opening through the abdominals. Gently moving into a convex curve. And then come back to neutral. Now, lateral flexion is one of the things that the lumbar spine can do very well. So the first thing I want you to do is just gently shift your hips, draw the knees together, gently shift your hips over to the left. And just breathe into that space. Through the hip, through the glute, into the low back, and then just gently bring it back up. And then again, gently draw it over to the right. Breathe. And then gently have it come back up. Okay. Now, I want you to take whatever variation of child's pose feels best. So, if flexion of the knees is too much to come all the way back, hips to heels, then I want you to keep your glutes a little bit higher and then just walk the torso down. Let the top of the forehead touch and just find the length that way. If your body says yes and can do more, then gently draw the hips down towards the heels. But please be very careful that you are not overflexing into the knees. This should be comfortable. This, you guys, is a great lengthening for that lower lumbar spine. And we're doing it without feeling any kind of overwork, like too much stretch. If you're up here, you're still going to get a really yummy stretch through the lumbar spine. And this is also going to help through the front of the body with the armpits. Okay, wherever you are, from extended child's pose, gently bring yourself back up. And then come up onto the knees. Make sure that you're using whatever stabilizers you need. So like if knees are a little grumpy, please make sure that you've got extra blankets, okay? So we're standing now upright on the knees, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna play again. We're just keeping the levers a little bit shorter. We're gonna do same. So I want you to bring the knees together right here. The first thing I want you to do is hands to hips, and you're gonna gently shift your hips just a little bit over to the left. And just notice how that feels from this position. Okay, and then inhale, come back up to center. And then exhale, bring it just a little bit over to the right. And just notice if there was a difference doing it from this plane of gravity rather than when we had knees and hands on the mat, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do our variation of half moon pose, but we're gonna come from the knees. So inhale, bring the arms up. And what I want you to do is bend into the elbows, and you're gonna take your right hand and wrap it around your left wrist, okay? And rather than having the arms forward, if you can bring them back so that the hands are stacked through the center of the head, over the tops of the shoulders, that's great. So from here, what we're gonna do is take a deep inhale. And then as you exhale, I want you to shift your hips over to the left and then roll the upper body, this whole length, over towards the right and breathe. Gaze is either slightly down, straight ahead. Okay. Those of you that want to do a little bit more, we're going to do a little bit of resistant movement. So what you're going to do is as this right hand is drawing that left arm down towards the floor, I want you to take this left elbow and gently pull away. And breathe here. If you can stay focused and pause at the top of the breath, that's great. One more cycle of breath, wherever you are. And then gently, slowly release. And inhale, bring it back up. Release, okay? So lateral flexion This is one of the strong points of the lumbar spine. Thoracic spine can also do some lateral flexion. So again, this is a whole spine movement. Inhale. Arms come up. This time I'm waving at you with my left hand. Wrap it around your right wrist. And again, if possible, rather than having the arms in front, if you can draw the arms so that they go through the center of the head and stack over the shoulders, that's great. Deep inhale. As you exhale, I want you to shift your hips to the right now. And then roll yourself gently over to the left. Breathe. And again, if you choose, if you want to do something that's a little bit more and you did it on the other side, as your left hand draws that right arm over towards the left, take that right elbow and gently pull in the opposite direction. And breathe. And then gently release. Inhale, bring it up. Float the arms down. And then just take a moment to notice how our bodies are feeling. If you have your chair handy, I'm going to just pivot myself so that I'm now facing my chair. Okay. What we're going to do is I want you to start with your left leg. And as long as you have the balance, hands are to the hips, I want you just to bend and bring that left knee up. Okay, all right. If your body says yes and you have a little bit more, you can step that left leg forward a little bit, still making sure that the knee and the ankle are fairly stacked. If you want to do a little bit more, you can curl underneath those right toes, lift your knee a little bit, and then step that right knee back, okay? But just take a moment and make sure that this feels good. Just gentle compression, right? Moving towards the center of the body through the sacrum. So no pressure, right? Through the thoracic spine. We're putting a little bit of a curve into the lumbar spine. Okay, so I want you guys to get really comfortable here. I'm going to change sides really quickly so that you guys can see what's going to come next, all right? So once you're here, please make sure that you have got lots of extra padding on that knee. Good, beautiful, awesome sauce, all right? So you guys, I want you to, we're going to play with the difference, what happens with the twist when we do it from a lunge. So this first part, it's just going to be the upper body. Hips are going to stay stacked and facing the seat of the chair. So you're going to place that left hand on top of the left thigh. Inhale that right arm up. And as you exhale, coming again from that upper spine, right? Your lower spine's going to come in a little bit, but most of the work is going to come from the upper spine. Make the twist over towards the left. Okay, your left hand can either wrap behind, if that's comfortable. It's going to come behind your body. There you go, good. Beautiful, look at you go, nice. You're going to bring that right arm down so that it comes either on top of the left thigh or rest just slightly on top or on the outside and breathe. There you go, beautiful, you got it. Nice. Okay, notice how this twist feels. We're going to unwind, so I want you to lengthen through that right arm first, bring it back up, untwist, making sure that the pelvis is facing forward towards the seat of the chair. Okay, and go ahead, if you need to hold on to the seat of the chair, gently step back with that left leg. Woo. And again, do a little side action. So again, you're still holding on to the seat of the chair. And I want you to press the hips a little bit over towards the left. A little bit of lateral movement. And then come back up. Now what I want you to do, as long as it's comfortable, is you're going to raise and come into the right leg. There we go. Good. And again, same thing applies on this side. Take a little time to get yourself set up so that the right knee and ankle are fairly stacked. If you have a lot of interplay coming through the pelvis, then you can place your hands on top of the seat, curl underneath the toes, and gently move that left leg back a little bit. Okay? So just take a moment right here and feel hips are stacked, and just feel the lunge. Okay, again, I'm going to readjust. All right, so from here, take that left arm, inhale up. Again, making sure that the twist is coming from the upper part of the body, right, through the rib cage. Exhale, gently draw and twist yourself over towards the right. Allow this left hand to come either on top of the right thigh or to the outside. Your right hand is going to just gently drape behind. And breathe. Notice the positioning of the pelvis. Pelvis is still moving forward, and the twist is coming from the rib cage. Breathe. And then gently release. Whoa. Unwind first, left arm. Hands can come to the seat. Step that right leg back. Take a moment and now shift the hips over towards the right. And breathe. Come back to center. Okay. Walk the knees forward. How are we feeling, you guys? Okay, good. All right. Now, as long as the knees can still do this, right? Because we're spending a little bit of extra time on the knees. What I want you to do is turn yourself around so that now you're facing away. Knees are underneath the chair. Hands are on the back of the chair. Okay. So the first thing I want you to do now is we're going to just gently take this into, right, a big opening. So big extension. So what I want you to do first off, before you do anything with the lower lumbar spine, just take a moment and simply right here, find those inner edges of the shoulder blades, just as we did before while we were on the ground, and gently squeeze them together. And notice that as you squeeze them together and you breathe, you get that really wonderful opening through the front of the rib cage. Yum. Now, from here, all you're going to do is breathe deeply into that low belly and feel the hips just gently press forward a little bit. So they're going to move away from the chair. Hips are going to move away from the chair. You're going to squeeze through your glutes a little bit to add some stability. You're not clenching, just squeezing. Breathe deeply into the front of the abdominal wall. So it's this entire piece coming from here all the way down to the pubis. Breathe. And then gently, slowly let it relax. Come back to neutral. Take a moment to absorb. How did that feel? And now from here, gently walk back around. Okay, so now we're facing. Beautiful. And hips are going to come back towards the heels. You can step yourself away, and you can take this into a very, very gentle variation of downward facing dog. Okay, so forehead is not resting on the mat, but the hips are also not towards the heels. That's what makes this different from, so hips are not at the heels. So we're not moving into a child's pose, we're just trying to lengthen. So what you are going to feel here is that the fingertips are moving towards the back of the seat. The hips are moving towards the feet, but they're not quite there. And all we're doing is just finding some gentle space and traction for the low back. Head and neck remain in neutral, so you're not tucking your chin up and in. The ears are about the same height as the upper arms. And just breathe. Now, if you want to try a little bit of flexion and extension through the neck, this is a great place to do it. So if you choose, as you exhale, gently take the chin towards the chest, gentle flexion. And then as you inhale, gently bring the head through and gaze forward or slightly up. Good. And then from here, gently, slowly walk the hands up first. Beautiful, you guys. Nice. Now walk the knees in. Good. Beautiful. Okay, here we go. Feet come up and you're standing. Go team. And I'm going to switch the camera real quickly. Hi. All right, you guys, here we go. So now we're going to use our chair. So the first thing I want you to do, I'm going to do this from the side, but that's just so that you guys can see. I want you to, just like we've been practicing, you're coming just so that the bottom part of the pelvis, your sits bones, are on the chair, but you've got lots of space between your back and the back of the chair. Okay? Then I want you to, as far as it's comfortable, allow the legs to come out. So this way I'm going to come now so that you can see me forward. Okay, so we have kind of a wide-legged fold. Okay, and then from this wide-legged fold, gently bend the knees just a little bit so the soles of the feet are on the ground. So from here, this next part is you're actually going to, hang on. So right now we're right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a forward fold from the chair, and we're going to let everything be supported so that we can really feel this flexion, right? And lengthening through the low back, but with a lot of support. So what's going to happen is that you may slide the sits bones back just a little bit more. So what I want you to do is slide your hands along the tops of the legs, and as you exhale, I want you to gently bring your torso forward. Let your hands come down so that they are creating support. And let your head and neck hang. And notice that because we have everything supported through the legs, this really is an awesome opportunity to really feel a lot of opening through the fascia and through the muscles of the low back. So everything from where our rib cage ends all the way down to the upper edges of our pelvis. Let your head and neck hang right here. Hands are forward. Do a gentle no with your head and neck. So we've got that nice rotation. The nice thing about doing this here is that this is the one place where when we work this part of our cervical spine, there's no gravity because our head is actually moving down. So we're creating some space for our cervical spine. Get very comfortable here through the legs. So it might be that the legs are further out. It might be that the legs are further in. This is really opening, right? So we're flexing forward through the lumbar spine. But what this does is it opens and lengthens everything through that lower back. So muscles, fascia, and into the spinal column. Now I want you to do a gentle yes with your head and neck. Find that flexion and extension. And then one more time, as long as it feels good, you're going to do a rotation. Gentle no, left and right. Take a moment, just really feel how the muscles feel through there. Gentle yes, one more time. Good. Ending on the yes. Now I want you to gently press into your hands so that once again, the spine is long and fairly flat. If you need to come up onto your fingertips, that's fine. And we're going to pause here. One of the things that happens as we age is that we have a really big fascial sheet that's called the thoracolumbar fascial sheet, okay? So what that covers is it goes from the bottom of the rib cage all the way down to the top of the crest of the pelvis. So because we just stretched that area deeply, we're not going to try to make a quick stand up. We're going to give the fascia time to remodel and to move, because fascia moves a little bit more slowly. From here, you're going to take your right hand, place it on the right knee, left hand, place it on the left knee. Now press down through the palms and slowly bring yourself upright. Beautiful, you guys. How did that feel, making that transition in parts? Did it feel better for your body? Okay. One of the things that happens, you guys, is that there's this whole biomechanical thing called creep. And as we age, our fascia compacts, right? And it also doesn't slide and glide as well as it should. So if we come from a full forward fold and then try to pop ourselves all the way up, think about how many times you bend over to get something, and then you bring yourself up and your back is going, wait a minute, that was a little too fast, right? It's the creep factor. Fascia has a difficult time moving as quickly as we still want to move. So if you do this in parts, it makes it a little bit easier. The creep can keep up with your movement. All right, so from here, now again, we're going to play with this idea of twist. So the first time is simply, we're going to twist, keeping our pelvis so that it's facing straight ahead. So pelvis and knees, they're all in that same line, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to twist again from the higher piece. So we're going to start this time by twisting to the right first. So what I want you to do is with that left hand, I want you to find that last floating rib. So rib 12, okay? And then gently bring your thumb right about to where it connects to the vertebrae. Okay. Sorry, you need to do that with your right hand. And then inhale, left arm comes up. And then as you exhale, I want you to twist above where your thumb is. So gently, slowly, you guys. And this might take a little bit of time. Please allow it to take a little bit of time. Keep the pelvis straight. And then gently lower that left hand, gently twisting to the right. Breathe right here. One more cycle of breath. And then gently inhale. You're going to sweep that left arm all the way up and over and bring it down. Release the right hand. Okay, we're going to do that same twist again, but this time, and it's nice because we have the chair, so usually it's a little bit slick. I want you to shift that right hip back. Okay, so now we're just doing this in a different way. Again, this time, let the right hand come back on that right pelvis so you can just feel it. Inhale, lengthen into that left arm. Exhale, twist. And bring that left arm to the outside of the right thigh. And breathe. And allow the head to continue the rotation till you find a place where the gaze is comfortable. And the bottom part of the chin is going to be parallel to the floor. Jaws soft. And then gently release. So what you're going to do is you're going to unlock and release this left arm first. Let the pelvis swing back so that once again, it's now parallel. Let the hands come to rest on top of the thigh for a moment. And just notice how your spine and how your body is feeling. Okay. All right. Now we're going to do that on the other side. So this time I want you to start square, right? So front edge of the pelvis, right? The ilium is right in line with the thighs down to the knees, okay? Again, you're going to take your left hand, find that floating rib, slide the finger so that it rests approximately where that vertebrae is. Inhale, lengthen into that right arm. As you exhale, feel the twist happen above the thumb. And then gently, slowly release that right arm to the outside of the left leg. Breathe. Beautiful, you guys. That looks awesome. Good. Release. I want you to lengthen into that right arm. Bring it all the way back. Feel. Notice how you're feeling through the body. Okay, now we're going to do that again, but I want you to take that left hip and shift it back. Slide it back and allow that right hip to move forward. Again, left hand, let it rest on the pelvis so that you can feel the shift through the pelvis. Inhale, lengthen, right arm up. Exhale, twist, bring it around. Again, allow that right hand to come to the outside of the right or the left thigh. Let the head and neck gently follow. And breathe. Good. Gently, slowly take this right arm, bring it up, and come out. Okay, so from where you are, making sure that if you need it, you've got your knee pads right in front of you. We're going to go ahead and step back off the chair. Come back again. So we're going to do, again, an extension and a flexion. So legs are underneath the chair, hands are at the edge of the seat of the chair. Again, I want you to take a moment before we start. Find those inner edges of the shoulder blades, gently squeeze. Feel the breath lift up and through the heart as you squeeze, going back. Take another deep inhale, and this time I want you to feel the belly as you fill it, as you inhale. Press out and follow that movement with your hips. So very gentle movement through the pelvis, gently coming forward. You've got a gentle squeeze going through the glutes. Not a big movement. We're just making it so that this kind of extension actually feels good. Notice if you feel a difference doing it this time versus how you did it the other time. Breathe here. And then gently, slowly release. Unwind through the shoulders. Bring the pelvis back to neutral. This time you have two options. You can either stay on your knees and take downward facing dog from the knees, or if it feels appropriate, hands are on the chair or the seat of the chair. Step up. Walk the legs back slightly so that they're about 3 feet. Gentle bend into the knees, and now lengthen into your spine this way. Hands are on the seat of the chair. You've got this nice little balance going. So your body weight, or glutes are moving behind. Fingers are lengthening out. And just breathe here through this space of traction. No matter where you are, you can play with the shoulders. You can feel them draw up towards the ears, and then using that musculature to slide them down over the rib cage and away. So just adding one more element. Knees are bent. You've got a gentle squeeze going through the glutes. Fingertips are moving towards the back side of the chair. So they're moving away from your head. If you want to take one more step, chin can tuck up and into the chest. 3 cycles of breath right here. When you are done with the 3 cycles of breath, gently walk your hands back to the front edge of the seat. Walk your feet in towards the middle. Pause here. When you're ready, take your hands to the fronts of the knees and gently, slowly slide up, giving that fascia, that creep, a chance to stay with your movement. Beautiful, you guys. How are you feeling? Everybody doing okay? Good. All right. Now you get to come down onto the mat. Go team. Please make sure that you have your blocks handy, you guys. And also a bolster if you have it. So we're going to finish here with a gentle twist. So again, what we're going to do is, this is where I want you guys to be very gentle. That's why we've done so many different twists, is that I really want you to feel this. Also grab your blankets if you need them, okay? So we're going to come down onto our back. And just take a moment again with the knees bent, because this was a big movement. We were standing upright. Now we're allowing gravity to pull everything down towards the floor. Take a moment and come back into that flexion and extension through the lumbar spine with the breath. We're going to do it with the breath. So hands come over the belly. Take a deep inhale. Feel the belly expand. And feel that gentle curve that you're creating. And then exhale. As the belly draws back in and up, we gently flatten that curve. And again, deep inhale. And exhale. And then one more time, deep inhale. And exhale. So for this low twist, I want you to again think of your lumbar vertebrae as a column. Do not think in terms of trying to get one vertebrae to individually twist. Let everything move gently through an axis of rotation, so through the center of rotation, okay? So what I want you to do is very gently, you may need to have a block or two. I want you to place them down by the knees. You're going to draw the feet closer to the sits bones. And then when you're ready, let your arms come out into T formation. Draw the feet next to each other, and then just very gently allow the knees to come over towards the right. And if you want your left hand on your back, you can do this with the back of your hand up against so you still be able to feel. What I want you to do is place the other hand on the front so that you can just very gently feel this twist. And notice what's happening. Notice that the pelvis is moving too, so that we're still, it's a gentle twist. We're not over asking that lumbar spine to twist. And breathe here. If that's comfortable for you, you can bring your arms back out into a T formation. If you need a little bit more lift, put another block underneath your knee. I invite you here, because this is a great place to lengthen through this left abdominal wall, to breathe into that left lung. So really breathe through this whole lateral side. And what you're doing is just a very gentle expansion, exhale, contraction. Just creating a little bit more space. One more cycle of breath. At the end of the cycle of breath, as the next inhale begins, gently draw the legs slowly back up to center. Take a moment to widen the stance through the feet again. Lift through the hips if you need to make sure that the spine is in line. And you're pressing equally through both parts of the backside of the pelvis. Pressing gently into the sacrum. Okay, you're going to move your block over to the left side now. Again, approximately knee height. This time, I want you to take that left hand, let it rest gently on top of the belly. Let your right hand gently come underneath. Draw the feet together. Deep inhale, and as you exhale, gently roll that lower portion of the spine over to the left. And again, know that this side is different than the other side. So please be mindful. Taking time to find your body in this movement, and then allow the arms to come out T formation as long as that feels comfortable. This side, the right side, I want you to again focus the breath laterally. So really practice filling that right lung. And notice how this feels. Take 2 more cycles of breath. Really feeling your body open into this. And then when you're ready, at the end of the exhale, slowly draw the knees back up. Gently separate the feet. Lift again through the back of the pelvis. To reseat, realign. And this time, as long as it feels comfortable, gently draw the knees up to the chest. Give yourself that really deep hug. Gentle flexion. Drawing yourself together. And then when you're ready, gently take whatever props you need in order to come to a comfortable savasana. Gently lengthening the legs if that feels appropriate. Placing blankets or bolster underneath. Eye bags over the eyes, blanket over the body. Please take what feels best for you. Let your eyes gently close. Let your palms come to face up. Take a moment and notice your shoulder blades. If you want to play, just take a moment, gently lift the shoulder blades, squeeze lightly, and then relax back in. Let your eyes gently close. And take a moment here just to make sure that we opened sweetly into all body parts. What I want you to do is come from the pelvis down. I want you to take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, I want you to squeeze everything from the pelvis down. So squeezing through the glutes, squeezing through the legs, through the calves, all the way into the feet and the toes. Really squeeze, and then gently relax. Feel the softening through the lower half of the body. And then when you're ready, taking a deep inhale. And now squeeze through the upper half of the body. Squeeze the back, squeeze the core, arms, shoulders, face, hands. Squeeze it really snugly. And then gently let it relax. Take a moment of gratitude to thank your body and your mind for making it through your practice today. And then come back to allowing your body to breathe you, feeling that deep softness, that deep relaxation. Keeping your eyes closed, keeping everything soft. Gently, slowly begin to find your way back, fingers and toes, hands and feet. Then bringing the awareness back to your breath, taking a full deep inhale and exhale through the nose. Filling your body with fresh oxygen, fresh prana, noticing the change that you've made in your body. If it feels appropriate, you can bring your arms up over your head to stretch, fingers to toes, bones to skin. Draw your knees high into your chest. Give yourself that one last hug. And then still gently bringing yourself back, roll yourself onto whichever side feels best and most natural for you. And then come back into a seated position one last time, hands to heart, eyes still gently closed. Thumbs again resting at the heart point on your sternum. Beautiful, you guys. Thank you all so very much for coming and making time for yourselves, your practice today. Thank you for allowing me to be the voice for your practice. I honor the divine in you, that is the divine in me, that is the divine in all of us. Namaste. And may the blessings be. Okay, you guys, I'm going to unmute and stop recording.